Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Sam from Historic Travels, and guys, listen. To start off today's video, I have to tell you that I have a bit of a confession to make. You see, guys, what you may not realize is that I have a secret. This is a secret that I've been keeping to myself for a very long time, and even though many of you have asked me about this, whenever I get asked the question about it, I always just kind of brush it under the rug. I don't talk about it, and what made many people out there suspicious about this is the fact that, I know so much about Titanic. People are asking me, how could you know all this stuff about Titanic if you weren't there? Well, guys, listen, here's the thing. The reason I know so much about Titanic and other ships is I'm a time traveler. I know, right? You guys are so surprised. I mean, there's that photo of me as a little kid messing with that old camera. I mean, that's potential proof that I'm a time traveler. And guys, guess what? I just got back time traveling from early 1900s New York City. And I got to see a beautiful Cunard steamship right there in the harbor. I mean, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Okay, not really. Okay, guys, I'm totally just messing with you, FYI. But I thought this little joke would be a good way to start up today's video. So, guys, the photo you just saw of me with that old steamship, well, believe it or not, guys, that's a theme park. That's a theme park called Disney Sea, which I got to visit during my last visit to Japan. So I know many of you were wondering why I was missing during Titanic Week, and that's the big reason. I was in Japan during that time with my girlfriend. Now, this video is just kind of a brief little overview of what I saw and experienced at Disney Sea. And guys, seriously, no joke, it was one of the coolest things I had ever seen. And it really did feel like I had time traveled back to New York City in the early 1900s, hence the joke at the beginning of the video. You see, Disney Sea is modeled after early 1900s New York. They've got steamships, they've got steam ferries going around. And I mean, the amount of detail that they put into this park to make it look like an early 1900s setting was absolutely mind-blowing. And I didn't get a picture of it, but I actually saw a poster on the wall of one of the buildings that said something like the Molly Brown Foundation or something. I'm like, that is so cool that they mentioned Molly Brown. But the highlight of that entire theme park is the ship that you see in this photo. This ship was built, for the park. It's not a real ship or anything, but it's called the SS Columbia. And, walking up to it and seeing those gorgeous red funnels, I really felt like I was looking at a Cunard ship. It actually reminded me of the stock footage of the Lusitania's final departure, the video or the film, of the Lusitania leaving New York City for the last time. That's what I felt like I was, witnessing and experiencing when I walked up to the Columbia. Now, you can actually go on board the Columbia. And when you walk on board, it really feels like you're stepping back in time onto an old steamship from the early 1900s. It's especially true when you walk out onto the forecastle deck. When you walk out to the very front of the ship and you look back towards the ship's superstructure, it was so cool. And it reminded me of the Queen Mary, standing there and looking back at the ship. And then I had a thought. So I took a photo of that part of the ship, and then I put it on my Discord server, and I said, guys, do you know where I am right now? And so many people, and honestly, I can forgive them for doing this because it does look like it. So many people thought I was on the Queen Mary for a second, because it does look like the Queen Mary. I mean, that just goes to show how detailed Disney made the Columbia in Japan. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention Disney Sea is located in Tokyo. But yeah, it was insanely cool. And then while I was standing on the forecastle deck and just looking around, I heard what sounded like a steam whistle blow. And then I looked over the side of the ship and I saw a little tender boat right there with smoke coming out of the funnel. And I mean, it was the most insane thing I had ever experienced. I never thought I would be somewhere that made me legitimately feel like I was in New York City during the early 1900s. I mean, listen, guys, if you are ever in Japan, you have to go and check out Disney Sea. And what you need to know is, or what you need to remember is, I went to Disney Sea with no knowledge of what this park was like beforehand. I mean, I knew that there was a park called Disney Sea, and I had seen like a picture of the ship before, but I didn't really know what it was all about. And when I got there and I saw what it was, my mind was just blown. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. And we had, me and my girlfriend, we had lunch on board the Columbia. They had a restaurant on board, and the restaurant was themed around Teddy Roosevelt. That was insanely cool to see. Now, one thing that I was kind of curious about, you know, the primary language in Japan is Japanese. Well, everything in this park, you know, all the New York City area, it was written in English. So, sorry. But I was curious as to, you know, how much the people who are from Japan and only know Japanese could read and understand. I didn't see hardly any Japanese in that area. But anyway, it was insanely cool. I highly recommend it. And that was the reason why I was absent during Titanic week. You know, I was in Japan, so sorry about that. It was the only thing that me and my girlfriend could make work out with our schedules, so we could go hang out in Japan and all that. It was the best we could do. So sorry. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's it for this quick little video. I literally filmed this whole thing in one take, which is crazy. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Disney Sea in Japan and you like old steamships like the Titanic and everything, you will be absolutely mind blown. It is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And listen, Disney got a big round of applause for me for creating that incredible theme park. I just wish we had something like that here in the States. All right, everybody. Well, hey, I will see you on the next one. And don't worry, I do have some regular historic travels videos in the works. I've got some pretty big projects coming up. I'm happy to report the Empress of Ireland animation is nearing completion. I might show you a little shot of it here at this part of the video. And I've got a few other projects in the works. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for all your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.